You guys already know that I am not a Christian. I used to be 27 years of being a hardcore Christian. And the one thing that stuck with me is that the Bible has some things that are accurate. And right now, what we're seeing is in the book of Daniel, it talks about these visions that Daniel had. And each one of the visions he had was about a massive beast rising from the ocean, and then it would fall. And when you start lining up the things that are said about each beast with history, you can start identifying who is who. So each beast represents a different empire. One represented the Egyptian Empire, another one represented the Medo Persian Empire, another one represented the Babylonian Empire, another one represented the Roman Empire. Um, and then the Roman Empire, eventually there's another one that represents the Anglo-Saxon Empire. And what I mean by that, the Anglo-Saxon Empire, I mean like the British Empire that later branched off and created the United States Empire. And they share a commonality. The British and United States Empire is built off of colonizing. I mean, honestly, any empire shares that. But the difference is that the British United States Empire is the last empire of that series. The visions that Daniel was having, that was the last empire. So it's not about, oh, the world is going to end. That's metaphorical. It's that the world is going to change. There will no longer be empires allowed, because to build an empire, you need to colonize other people. And that's not, nobody's allowing that anymore. People are sick and tired of that shit. You need to oppress other people. Again, no longer being allowed. So all of the things that are required, the strategy, the manpower, the trickery and the deceit and the oppression that comes with building an empire is no longer being allowed. That's why it is the last empire of that lineup. So what we're seeing right now is, in Spanish there's a saying, patadas de ahogado. It's like the last kicks of a drowning man, because this empire is about to be destroyed. So Donald Trump is a necessary piece of the puzzle, as is Elon Musk and all their supporters, because it's like a fever needs to break. These people need to be in power so that all of the racism that was very subtle, all of the hatred and the bigotry and the narrow-mindedness that used to be very hidden, even though it was there, but it was like we were constantly gaslighted about it. We were constantly, oh, that doesn't exist anymore, that's all in your head, and blah, 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 blah. We needed these people to be in power so that these things could be exposed, so that these things could be obvious. So now things are going to start getting really intense. Things are about to start increasing. And I'm not saying this to scare you guys. I'm not trying to fearmonger. This is a cautionary message. This is about being aware that this goes beyond politics. This goes beyond Donald Trump and Elon Musk. This is going to be a global thing, because the British Empire and the United States Empire has touched a lot of different countries, has influenced and destroyed many countries. So, like back when in November, when the Maori people were, starting their movement, they want the British influence out of their government, because that's not their land. It is the Maori land. New Zealand belongs to the Maori people. So we're going to start seeing that. Now, that also means there will also most likely be a lot of hate crimes being committed. There will be a rise in the visibility of people who are part of the KKK or part of the Proud Boys or things like that. Allow that. I know it's scary, but we have to get to a point where people are just so sick and tired of seeing that it gets destroyed. So like a fever, it's going to keep rising and rising until it breaks. Allow it to break. Don't be scared. Just remember that you're going to do what you have to do to keep yourself safe, right? Treat this like a time of tension. Take caution. Behave in a way that keeps you and your loved ones safe. Do what you need to do to keep yourself safe. If that means that the neighborhood you're in you don't feel comfortable in, move to another neighborhood. If the state you're in is one that you feel is not, conducive to your well-being, move to a different state. Right now is the time before things start getting really wild. Okay, but it's the fall of an empire, and it's going to be monumental, but it needed to happen. And before I conclude, I want to say that the most interesting aspect of all this is that Christianity is hand in hand with the British Anglo-Saxon Empire. The way that Trump is representing Christianity right now, and keep in mind, I don't have anything against Christ himself, but let's be real, Christians nowadays do not follow Christ. They are choosing very clearly to not follow Christ. They are not Christians. They are religious fanatics, but it's not Christ that they're following, because Christ only gave 2 commandments, literally just 2 commandments. In fact, he said that when he came here, he came to undo the previous covenant. The previous covenant is everything you find from Genesis all the way up to the Psalms. And he came to undo that. So when people are quoting scriptures from that area, why are they quoting those scriptures when Christ already said he was undoing that contract, that pact, that covenant was dissolved with his presence. He said, we're going to rebuild it with only these 2 commandments. And he said, number 1, love God with all your heart, your soul, your body. Number 2, love your fellow man. That's it. Just 2. How many Christians do you know that follow those 2 commandments? I'll wait. Because that's not what Christians do. Christians follow of course, they cherry pick, right? Which of the 10 commandments they want to follow. And then they also follow what the apostles said after Christ. That wasn't Christ. But they believed that they had the authority that Christ left them, even though those people were already very influenced by their Jewish beliefs and their Jewish customs. And anything that they said that might have contradicted what Christ said, people just like, oh, but that matters more. That's more important than what Christ said. So don't come to me and tell me that those people follow Christ, because that is bullshit. Okay? So Christianity will fall too, is my point. They will fall together. And you're going to start seeing a lot more people being very vocal about how Christianity is basically a cult. And it's ridiculous that they want to talk about family values and all this bullshit when I think there's a lot more likelihood of you getting abused at a church than outside of it. The irony. So anywho, I'm going to start releasing, probably not right now, but I'm going to start releasing a lot more of my shadow work that usually you would only get if you work one-on-one with me, because that's what I'm being led to do. That's what my guides are pushing me to do, and you guys already know I listen. So keep an eye out. We're going to be putting out a lot more content about how to step into a sovereign era, because that's what we're working towards, sovereignty, ultimately. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this. Drop a comment down below if you have any questions, and I will answer as soon as I can. Bye-bye.